My name is Trevor, and I'm the kind of dad that kids call a grumpy guy. It's growing up, and I'm the kind of dad that kids call a grumpy guy. It's not because I don't like to have fun, I'm just a very protective father. Normally, my wife tells me to relax a little, that the kids are growing up and being careful. But, especially in the new year, something inside me wakes up, and I feel like I have to keep an eye on them. I can understand that they think I'm crazy, maybe, like everyone else. I have some degree of insanity, but if you knew what my madness is about, as well as my family, you would understand me too. It all started more than 30 years ago. I have no siblings, so I was always very spoiled. My parents treated me very well, but I still had the fantasy of running away, of living an adventure on my own. I had a lot of energy and felt that my destiny could not be in a small town. Even though I was not even 12 years old, I had to live life to the fullest. My experiment came to a head on New Year's Eve. My whole family was partying while I was sleeping. That was the chance to escape. While everyone was in the dining room, I opened the window and without grabbing anything, I left. Sorry, Mom. Sorry, Dad. But I can't be a kid forever. I walked forward again, thinking about where to go. The first thing I needed to do was to get out of town and go into the wilderness. Luckily, we were surrounded by a forest, so it wouldn't be too difficult to find it. I walked a few blocks, but something in front of me prevented me from passing. A shadowy silhouette stood in the darkness. His eyes were blood red, and his huge figure was imposing. The figure came out of the shadows, and luckily it wasn't a monster, but by its face, it could easily be one. Hey kid, what are you doing outside your house? The man looked nervous, but he had a huge smile on his face. All his clothes and face were covered with blood, but he didn't have any wounds. I know this was weird, but if I was going to run away, I had to be brave and not be afraid of anything. Or at least, that's what I thought when I was a kid. I'm running away. I've decided I want to live in nature. Oh, I see. And where are Mom and Dad? Are you deaf? They're at home. I ran away. How brave you are, child. As he spoke to me, I could see the drool coming out of his mouth, as if he couldn't wait to do something. Before I could answer him, his eyes popped out of their sockets, and he looked up at the sky. Desperate, he shouted violently. No! You won't take him away from me! You can't keep him! He's just a child, for God's sake! Sir, are you all right? I won't let you take him away! Don't you see how brave he is? Ah! I wasn't going to witness another second of whatever that was. I ran as fast as I could. I didn't know who that man was, but he was going to hurt me for sure. As I ran, I heard two voices behind me, but they both came from the same person. Run faster! Get him! This was not the same voice as before. His tone was much thicker and full of anger. All right, but promise me you won't hurt him. I want his eyes to be the first thing I see when the new year starts. I was still far away, but the man with two voices was catching up with me. There was no way I was going to make it home in time. I turned quickly to miss him and went in the direction of the park. It was only a few minutes before New Year's. If I could hide long enough, people would come out of their houses to celebrate, and this man would not be able to catch me. I climbed up the stairs to the slide and hid inside it, without going down. After a few seconds, I heard his voice again, walking around the park. Boy, relax, you can come out now. The bad man promised me he wouldn't kill you. He's not hungry anymore. I covered my mouth. If I made the slightest sound, he would surely find me. You don't believe me, do you? Trust me, the bad man only eats human flesh before the new year, but he just ate. He's satisfied. He said I could stay with you if I promised to take care of you. Isn't that great? You are mine, little lamb. No! Get away! The man quickly climbed up the slide, and before I could muster the strength to pull myself up, he grabbed my leg with his teeth and like a dog yanked me down. Already in front of me, he lunged towards my face, trembling. Suddenly, his expression changed again. No! You promised me you wouldn't eat him! It's mine! The man grabbed me with both arms and, lifting me up, started to run. I tried to bite him, scratch him, hit him, but nothing seemed to work. It was as if I was invulnerable to pain. After running a few blocks, he opened the trunk of his car with one hand. As I tried to throw myself into the trunk,
This is Go Henry. It's a card and an app. It teaches kids how money works safely.
He opened the trunk of his car with one hand. As I tried to throw myself into the trunk, I saw a family coming out of their house celebrating. It was already New Year's Eve. All the doors began to open, and the man started to get nervous. I had to take advantage of this opportunity. Help! I'm being kidnapped! My scream seemed to have scared the man, as he nervously let go of me as all the families turned to look at us. I had made it. I was escaping. Suddenly, my happiness was interrupted. It was the man again, grabbing me by the head with enormous force. You scared Jeffrey, you damn brat! With great force, he threw me into the back of the car and slammed it shut. I began to hear the screams of the families running in my direction, but when they were very close, the car started up. The screams were heard farther and farther away, until they disappeared. After that, the only thing I remember is waking up in a cage in a basement. There was a smell of blood that made me sick. When the lights came on and my eyes adjusted, the scene I saw was a nightmare. There were dead bodies everywhere. Blood was everywhere. And in front of me, my captor approached me. Are you gonna kill me? No. How do you think I would do that? I've never killed anyone. Only the beast is the one who kills. But don't worry. You're my pet now. He won't do anything to you as long as you behave yourself. Now, eat a little. I have to go. I'll come down to play with you later. No, stop! Don't go away! Those were his last words. After that, the man left and I went back to the darkness. During the time I was there, I lived for almost 5 years in which I never left that basement. All I did was watch the man kill people at night with brutal force, tearing his victims apart with his bare hands. Women, children, old people, men. He made no distinctions. He just brought people in and killed them. During the day, his other personality would come down and play with me. He would throw papers at me, comb my hair, and tell me about his day. When I cried or didn't want to answer him, well, he would punish me. New Year's Eves were special. During the day, he would celebrate our birthday together by bringing me chocolate. He didn't eat anything. He told me he wanted to save the beast's appetite for the night. When darkness came, he would bring a victim, as usual. Only that, in addition to killing it, he would devour it before the new year. The years continued to pass, until one day I heard loud gunshots from above, and a few minutes later a bunch of men in lights were pointing at me. It was the police. I was saved. I was hospitalized for many days. I had several illnesses and malnutrition problems. My body took months to recover, but my brain hasn't healed quite yet. When I grew up, I was able to have my own family. Today, I'm better, but when I'm with my children, I never lose sight of them. Even though that man died the day the police found me, at the end of the year, I still see him in the window. He's not looking at me, but my children. I know I'm probably crazy and hallucinating, but I will never let him or any other beast put my loved ones through what I went through.
Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying the video. If so, please leave a like. And also, a small percentage of people that watch my videos are actually subscribed. If you want to support this channel and make this channel reach the 1 million mark, please consider subscribing. It's free and you can change your mind later. Enjoy.
My husband Miles loves New Year's. He goes overboard with the joy of celebrating the holidays. Every year we travel to our country house for a romantic beginning to the coming year. It's a big house, but last year, things didn't go as planned. Upon arriving, we took it straight to the bedroom and made love. Miles and I have been high school sweethearts, and we still can't get enough of each other. After quite a pleasurable hour, we both decided to cook dinner together. The snow had already covered our garden like a white blanket. I made hot chocolate, while Miles started the fireplace. We were laughing and joking when I saw a shadowy figure standing outside the back door. Seeing me stare at the back patio with a confused face, Miles asked,
What is it?
I think there's someone outside. The patio light was off, so it was dark outside. I switched on the lights and went to check. To my surprise, there was no one. The tall hills facing our house stood silent. The snow and the pine woods were mute observers.
God, it's so cold here. Let's go in.
Maybe we should check the property.
What? There's no one out here. We're in the middle of nowhere, Rhonda. You probably imagined it.
Fine. Even though I came in, I still couldn't shake off the feeling of being watched by an unknown intruder. Miles was right, though. There's nothing but mountains and snowy woods surrounding our house. It would be difficult for any human being to survive in this cold without being seen. Miles cooked delicious steak for dinner. We had a good time and ate our tummies full. There was unfinished food on my plate, and both of us were too busy to clean the dishes that night. We left it all on the dinner table and went back upstairs to watch a movie and drink till the countdown. The time went well, and we eventually kissed each other, wishing a happy new year once the clock struck 12. Thinking of going snowboarding early in the morning, we decided to get some sleep. I don't exactly remember how I woke up, but once I did, I felt thirsty. I forgot to fill the jug in the bedroom, so I walked downstairs. As I came downstairs, my eyes suddenly noticed the dishes on the table. They were licked clean. I slowly scanned the house with tense eyes. I heard the basement door creak open behind me, followed by heavy footsteps. Someone was down there, and now walking towards me. The house was in complete darkness. The moonlight from the windows was my only source to see. I wanted to scream for my husband, but my voice died in my throat. The footsteps got closer each second, and my heartbeat got faster. Whoever it was had eaten our leftovers and decided to take shelter in the basement. But now he was coming out to reveal himself. Shelter in the basement. But now he was coming out to reveal himself. I stood like a statue, eyes wide open, staring at the dark basement. The footsteps stopped, and then a hand hovered from the darkness and waved at me.
Follow me.
Thinking this is just a nightmare, I still didn't react. But then a face came out of the darkness, and I almost had a heart attack. It was a man wearing President Ronald Reagan's mask. Through eye holes, I could see blood-red, drunk eyes looking at me up and down. I finally screamed, "Miles!" And I turned around to run upstairs when the man came out from the basement. Not in my wildest dreams I expected what I saw next. The man was completely naked, wearing nothing. He held a dried maple leaf over his junk and then began laughing hysterically.
Happy New Year!
I ran upstairs at full speed, hearing the man chasing me. I closed the bedroom door and woke up my husband. "Miles, Miles!
What is it, Rhonda?
There's a crazy man in our house.
God, not again. You probably had a bad dream.
No! He's outside our room. Wake up! That's when the knocking began. Loud banging along with psychotic screams.
Open the door! Open! Open now! I came to wish you a happy new year! You need to say it back!
My husband woke up and realized I wasn't imagining things this time. He grabbed the baseball bat from under the bed and yelled back at the naked man.
What the hell do you want? I want you to open the door! Get out of my house! And what if I don't? You know you can't call the cops here!
He kept hitting the door with his fist and then stopped. Everything went silent. Did he leave?
I don't know.
We walked close to the door, and Miles placed his ear to overhear the sounds from the other side of the door. For a few seconds, nothing happened. And then suddenly, I heard a mechanic rumble. A tip of a chainsaw started cutting through our bedroom door. Yes, a freaking chainsaw! Miles would have been chopped off like a pig if he didn't move in time. I screamed at the top of my lungs, and the man cut a big hole in our bedroom door. He inserted his head from it, and Miles was shocked.
Holy crap! Who are you?
I told you, he's crazy!
Let me in so I can wish you a happy new year, and then hug you guys!
I took the baseball bat from Miles's hand because he chickened out at that moment. I swung the bat at full speed and hit the psycho on his head. The sound of a skull crack rent the air, and behind that mask, a trail of blood started dripping from his head.
No! What did you do?
Miles ran as the man collapsed on the floor. He opened the door in one go and took off his mask.
Jeff! Jeff! You alright?
To my horror, it wasn't some intruder, but rather Miles's best friend, Jeff. And now that I saw his body in the light, I realized he was not naked. He was only wearing a skin-colored costume to give the impression of some crazy, drunk, naked lunatic that broke into our house on the night of New Year's. What the hell is he doing here?
It was a freaking prank, Rhonda! I set it up! All of our friends are going to be here soon, and now you just killed a man! Not just any man, my best friend!
How the hell was I supposed to know it's your friend? And that it's a stupid prank? No matter how much we argue, what's done cannot be undone. I've killed a man, and guests will be arriving at our house soon. The only option we had was to hide his body. It felt awful, but we dug a hole in our backyard and buried Jeff in it. We then covered the surface with snow so that no one noticed. Jeff's car was parked at some distance, and we drove to a frozen lake in the woods and pushed it in. The weight of the car cracked the frozen layer of ice over the lake and drowned into its depth. Miles's friends came and we partied as if nothing happened. People asked about Jeff and we lied that he never arrived here. Everyone left the next day. We wanted to leave too, but decided to stay for a day more just to make sure there was no clue left of this unfortunate murder. We decided to dig Jeff's body up and burn it so we would never get caught. What we discovered in that process is the ultimate nightmare. Jeff's fingernails were filled with mud, and a few nails were broken too. He had soil inside his mouth and nostrils. Oh my God, he tried to come out. He tried to dig the soil. That means...
We buried him alive.